In the far reaches of the galaxy, where stars burned bright and planets danced in their orbits, an ancient council, known as the Conclave, ruled over countless species who had long since mastered the art of interstellar travel and advanced technology to levels far beyond the comprehension of any human being on Earth. Earth, however, was a small, insignificant world tucked away in a quiet corner of the Milky Way, a planet whose inhabitants were still fighting wars over borders and trying to understand the universe around them. But there was something about Earth, something unknown, that caught the attention of the Conclave long ago. It started with a small incident, a long-forgotten disaster that had nearly cost the lives of several highly advanced alien explorers who ventured to Earth thousands of years ago. They were met with something they were not prepared for, something dangerous and unpredictable, something they could not control or understand. So the Conclave made a decision. Earth was to be sealed off from the rest of the galaxy. No alien race was allowed to approach or make contact with its inhabitants, for fear that the power they might unleash would be catastrophic. But the Conclave kept this secret hidden from the galaxy, knowing that if the truth ever came to light, it might cause panic and fear among the species they had worked so hard to unite. For centuries, this decree remained in place. Earth was left alone, unremarkable, and ignored while the galaxy moved on, with its vast network of civilizations reaching out into the stars, making new alliances, and engaging in grand adventures. Yet as time passed, strange occurrences began to ripple through the galaxy, small anomalies in the fabric of space that seemed to lead toward Earth. Though no one paid them much attention, the Conclave believed the threat from Earth had long been quelled, and no one suspected that the planet had remained untouched by any outside forces. But in the year 2325, something changed. Alex Ray, a young human scientist working in a forgotten research station high in the Arctic, was scanning cosmic radiation for a routine project when he picked up an odd signal, something that didn't belong at first. He thought it was just interference or a glitch in the equipment, but the signal persisted, growing clearer over time. Alex was no stranger to anomalies in space. After all, his career had been built on uncovering the mysteries of the universe. But this was different. It was too precise, too intentional. He tracked the signal to its source, buried beneath the ice in Antarctica, where he discovered an artifact unlike anything he had ever seen before, a strange metallic object covered in symbols and markings that seemed to shift before his eyes, as though it was alive, or perhaps something trying to communicate. Alex spent months studying the artifact and its cryptic messages, slowly unlocking its secrets, until one fateful day the truth became clear. The artifact was a relic from the first alien visitors to Earth, and it contained the history of their disastrous attempt to conquer the planet, the very reason the Conclave had sealed Earth off from the rest of the galaxy. The disaster had been far worse than anyone could have imagined. The visitors had underestimated humanity's capacity for survival and resistance, and they had paid the price dearly for it. Those who survived the attack fled the planet in terror, and the Conclave issued their decree forbidding any further contact with Earth, hoping that the events would fade into the annals of time and be forgotten. But Alex's discovery was far from forgotten. It was only the beginning of a story that would soon shake the galaxy to its core and force the Conclave to confront a reality they had tried to bury for centuries. The discovery of the artifact sent ripples through the scientific community, but what Alex didn't realize was that his findings were far more significant than anyone could have predicted. Soon after the artifact was uncovered, whispers began to spread across Earth's most powerful organizations, secret government agencies and military factions that had long since been aware of strange cosmic anomalies, began to take a closer interest in Alex's work. Soon, they were watching him from the shadows, his every move tracked by eyes that never blinked. At first, Alex had no idea he was being observed, believing he was simply uncovering an ancient piece of history, something that would make his career, his name known among the greatest scientific minds of the century. But as the months went on, Alex started to notice odd things, small inconsistencies like strange interference in his communication systems, the disappearance of a few colleagues, and subtle pressure from higher-ups to keep quiet about his findings. Something wasn't right. It all came to a head when he was contacted by a mysterious figure one evening late in his research lab. The voice on the other end of the encrypted line was calm and deliberate, its words chilling. "You have found something you should not have," the voice said. "And now the galaxy will be forced to remember Earth." Alex's heart raced. He didn't recognize the voice, but there was something in its tone that sent a shiver down his spine. Whoever it was, they knew everything about the artifact and its significance in ways that Alex hadn't fully understood yet. "What do you mean?" he asked cautiously, his curiosity getting the better of him. "What's going to happen?" "The artifact you found is not just a relic," the voice continued. "It is a warning, and you have opened a door that cannot be closed. The Conclave has kept Earth hidden for centuries because of its potential, but you have revealed it to them now, and they will come to make sure no one else follows in your footsteps." Alex's mind raced as the realization set in. He had stumbled onto something far bigger than he could have ever imagined. The Conclave, the mysterious council that ruled the galaxy, had been keeping secrets not just about Earth, but about humanity's true place in the universe, and now they knew someone had discovered it. The conversation ended abruptly as the figure warned Alex that time was running out and that he needed to leave his research facility immediately before it was too late. The next few days were a blur for Alex as he scrambled to cover his tracks and erase any trace of his findings, but it was already too late. Alien ships were already beginning to approach Earth's orbit, and with them came the growing sense of dread that hung over the planet like a storm on the horizon. The first alien ship to arrive was an enormous vessel that glided silently through the vacuum of space, its sleek black exterior reflecting the light of distant stars. As it drew closer to Earth's atmosphere, the human military was quick to respond, but they were no match for the sheer power of the alien technology. The ship hovered just outside the planet's atmosphere, scanning the world below, as though assessing whether it was worth the risk to land. Days later, more ships appeared, smaller but still powerful, and they surrounded Earth like vultures circling their prey. Alien vessels from every corner of the galaxy arrived under the orders of the Conclave, their mission clear: prevent Earth from making contact with anyone else and contain the threat that Alex had unknowingly unleashed. Humanity had no idea what was coming their way. They believed their planet was still a quiet little backwater, hidden from the galaxy's eye. But the truth was about to come crashing down upon them, and Earth's fate was no longer in their hands. The world was in chaos as the first alien ship appeared in Earth's orbit, its sheer size and presence enough to make even the most hardened governments pause in fear. Humanity had always been the underdog in the grand story of the galaxy, a planet that had barely begun to explore space. And yet here it was, with no warning, confronted by a force far beyond anything they could comprehend. The world's leaders scrambled to make sense of the situation. Military forces were placed on high alert. Space agencies scrambled to track the incoming vessels, but no one knew what to do or what the aliens wanted. In the shadow of the unknown, Alex Ray found himself thrust into a situation he had never anticipated. He had spent years studying the stars, the origins of life, the mysteries of the universe, but never once had he imagined he would be caught in the middle of an intergalactic crisis. As the world's eyes turned to him, hoping he could somehow explain what was happening, he had become a reluctant figurehead, a symbol of humanity's hope in the face of an unimaginable threat. But he knew he was in over his head. It didn't take long for the first confrontation to occur. The military launched a series of space-based weapons designed to deter the alien ships, but the response was swift and overwhelming. The alien vessels unleashed an unimaginable show of power, a dazzling display of energy weapons and advanced shields that rendered humanity's most powerful weapons useless. The battle in space was short-lived but devastating. The aliens seemed to toy with Earth's defenses before retreating back to their position in orbit, leaving humanity shaken and terrified. Alex watched from his lab as the events unfolded on his screens. The alien ships had made no attempt to land, no direct threats had been made, but the message was clear enough. Earth was not welcome. The Conclave had sent its most advanced fleet to contain what they saw as a growing threat, and they would not allow any further interference with the planet. But what the aliens hadn't counted on was the presence of something unexpected. Among the wreckage of the first alien ship to approach Earth, there were strange energy readings that seemed to have come from a hidden compartment deep within the hull. When Alex and his team analyzed the data, they discovered a shocking truth. The ship had been damaged by something unseen and invisible force that had affected the vessel in ways they couldn't explain. The more Alex dug into the data, the clearer it became. The Conclave's ships were not invulnerable to Earth's unknown energy, and the more they attempted to breach Earth's defenses, the stronger this force seemed to grow. Alex's heart raced as the implications became clear. This wasn't just a random cosmic anomaly. This was something tied directly to Earth itself, something far more powerful than any alien technology could hope to match. His thoughts were interrupted by a soft chime on his desk. His screen flickered, and a familiar face appeared, a face he had never expected to see again. Alex, said the figure on the screen. It was Kale, an alien diplomat whom Alex had met months before during his research into the artifact. I have information you need to hear. Alex leaned forward, his mind reeling from the recent events. What do you know? He asked, his voice tight with urgency. Cal's expression was grim. The Conclave is terrified of Earth's potential. They have known about your planet for millennia. But what they didn't expect was that humanity's evolution was never random. You have been engineered by an ancient force, and they are afraid of what you could become. Alex felt a chill run down his spine. Engineered? How can that be possible? Kale nodded. The truth is that Earth was seeded with life long ago by a race that existed before the Conclave. Even now, your species has the potential to rise far beyond anything the galaxy has ever seen, and the Conclave is doing everything in their power to prevent that from happening. The weight of Cal's words hit Alex like a punch to the gut. The galaxy's most powerful council had been hiding Earth's true nature for centuries, and now the rest of the universe was starting to take notice. But what was worse was that the very thing the Conclave feared, the power of humanity, was already awakening, and it was only a matter of time before Earth's destiny would be revealed to the stars. Alex stared at the screen, his mind struggling to process Cal's words. The implications were staggering. Earth was no ordinary planet, and humanity was no mere byproduct of evolution. Alex's breath caught in his throat as the magnitude of what he had uncovered began to sink in. He had always believed that humanity's potential lay in its adaptability, its capacity to overcome obstacles. But this was something entirely different. His people had been engineered, designed for a purpose far beyond their understanding. So, you're saying, Alex started, his voice shaking slightly, that the Conclave has known this all along. That Earth was deliberately seeded. Kale nodded gravely, his alien features betraying a sense of urgency. Yes, and the Conclave has kept the truth hidden for millennia. They've allowed you to grow, to develop, but they feared what would happen once you reached a certain threshold. The Conclave's decision to seal off Earth wasn't about protection. It was about control. They knew that if humanity ever realized its true potential, you would become a force that could challenge everything they've built in the galaxy. Alex felt the weight of those words press down on him. For all of his life, he had thought humanity was just one species among many in the vast expanse of the universe. But now, he understood that Earth held something far more valuable, far more dangerous, than anyone had imagined. And it wasn't just the Conclave that feared humanity. If other civilizations found out, there would be a scramble to either harness that power or destroy it before it could ever be fully realized. What happens now? Alex asked, his voice barely a whisper. If the Conclave knows what we're capable of, what are they going to do? Cal's eyes narrowed, his expression darkening. They will not allow Earth to remain untouched. Already, their fleet is preparing for action. They'll attempt to stop any species from interacting with your world. They'll use whatever force is necessary. But there's something else, something more dangerous. The artifact you found. It's not just a warning. It's a key to unlocking the power that the Conclave has been trying to suppress for centuries. And now that you've found it, they won't rest until it's destroyed, or until they can control it. Alex's mind raced. The artifact was far more than just a historical curiosity. It was a weapon. a tool that could give humanity the power to change the course of the galaxy. But what did it mean to unlock that power? And how could they use it without falling under the control of those who sought to suppress them? Before he could ask another question, Cal's image flickered, his face becoming more urgent. "Alex, you must leave now. The Conclave is moving quickly. They've detected the energy signature from the artifact. They know you're a threat. You must get to the others, your government, the military. Tell them everything. Prepare them. If we don't act fast, Earth will be sealed off, and no one will ever know what happened here. Humanity will be erased from the galactic map." The call ended abruptly, leaving Alex alone with the crushing weight of the truth. He was no longer just a scientist. He was a symbol of Earth's survival. The world around him was on the brink of chaos, and every decision he made from this point on would shape the future of humanity. He quickly gathered his belongings, but the urgency of the situation only intensified as he stepped out into the frigid air of the Arctic base. Military jets could be seen in the distance, flying in formation, but they were unprepared for what was coming. The alien fleet was already on its way. As he made his way to the nearest communications center, Alex couldn't shake the thought of what Cal had said. The Conclave was afraid of humanity's power, afraid of what could happen if Earth's potential was unlocked. But what if humanity could harness that power for good? What if they could change the galaxy, not through destruction, but through unity, through understanding? The answers were out there, hidden in the artifact, and in the ancient secrets that the Conclave had tried so desperately to bury. And Alex was determined to find them before it was too late. Alex stared at the screen, his mind struggling to process Cal's words. The implications were staggering. Earth was no ordinary planet, and humanity was no mere byproduct of evolution. Alex's breath caught in his throat as the magnitude of what he had uncovered began to sink in. He had always believed that humanity's potential lay in its adaptability, its capacity to overcome obstacles. But this was something entirely different. His people had been engineered, designed for a purpose far beyond their understanding. "So, you're saying," Alex started, his voice shaking slightly, "that the Conclave has known this all along? That Earth was deliberately seeded?" Cale nodded gravely, his alien features betraying a sense of urgency. "Yes, and the Conclave has kept the truth hidden for millennia. They've allowed you to grow, to develop, but they feared what would happen once you reached a certain threshold. The Conclave's decision to seal off Earth wasn't about protection, it was about control. They knew that if humanity ever realized its true potential, you would become a force that could challenge everything they've built in the galaxy." Alex felt the weight of those words press down on him. For all of his life, he had thought humanity was just one species among many in the vast expanse of the universe. But now, he understood that Earth held something far more valuable, far more dangerous than anyone had imagined. And it wasn't just the Conclave that feared humanity. If other civilizations found out, there would be a scramble to either harness that power or destroy it before it could ever be fully realized. "What happens now?" Alex asked, his voice barely a whisper. "If the Conclave knows what we're capable of, what are they going to do?" Cal's eyes narrowed, his expression darkening. "They will not allow Earth to remain untouched. Already, their fleet is preparing for action. They'll attempt to stop any species from interacting with your world. They'll use whatever force is necessary. But there's something else, something more dangerous. The artifact you found, it's not just a warning. It's a key to unlocking the power that the Conclave has been trying to suppress for centuries. And now that you've found it, they won't rest until it's destroyed, or until they can control it." Alex's mind raced. The artifact was far more than just a historical curiosity. It was a weapon, a tool that could give humanity the power to change the course of the galaxy. But what did it mean to unlock that power? And how could they use it without falling under the control of those who sought to suppress them? Before he could ask another question, Cal's image flickered, his face becoming more urgent. "Alex, you must leave now. The Conclave is moving quickly. They've detected the energy signature from the artifact. They know you're a threat. You must get to the others, your government, the military. Tell them everything. Prepare them. If we don't act fast, Earth will be sealed off, and no one will ever know what happened here. Humanity will be erased from the galactic map." The call ended abruptly, leaving Alex alone with the crushing weight of the truth. He was no longer just a scientist. He was a symbol of Earth's survival. The world around him was on the brink of chaos, and every decision he made from this point on would shape the future of humanity. He quickly gathered his belongings, but the urgency of the situation only intensified as he stepped out into the frigid air of the Arctic base. Military jets could be seen in the distance, flying in formation, but they were unprepared for what was coming. The alien fleet was already on its way. As he made his way to the nearest communication center, Alex couldn't shake the thought of what Cal had said. The Conclave was afraid of humanity's power, afraid of what could happen if Earth's potential was unlocked. But what if humanity could harness that power for good? What if they could change the galaxy, not through destruction, but through unity, through understanding? The answers were out there, hidden in the artifact, and in the ancient secrets that the Conclave had tried so desperately to bury. And Alex was determined to find them before it was too late. The moment the artifact's energy surged through Alex, everything in the room seemed to vanish. It was as if time itself had folded in on him. His mind raced, flooded with ancient memories that weren't his own, thoughts and visions that stretched beyond the limits of human comprehension. In the blink of an eye, Alex understood. The artifact wasn't just a relic. It was a record, a living archive of a civilization far older than the Conclave, and it held the key to humanity's hidden power. But it wasn't just knowledge he had unlocked. Alex felt something stir deep within him, a force, an instinct, something primal that connected him to the artifact in ways he couldn't explain. He knew that whatever lay buried within Earth was not just the product of some ancient race's design. It was humanity's legacy, a power waiting to be awakened. And now that it had been triggered, the galaxy's fate was inextricably tied to what humanity chose to do next. His thoughts were broken by a sudden alert flashing on his screen. The alien fleet was moving. They were preparing to make their move. The Conclave wasn't wasting any more time. Their ships had started descending toward Earth's atmosphere, their weapons powered up and ready to strike. Alex's heart pounded in his chest. He had moments, maybe hours, before the Conclave decided to wipe Earth clean, and yet he now held the key to the very power they feared. "General Wright, I've unlocked the artifact," Alex said into the comlink, his voice tight with urgency. "But I need more time. We have to figure out how to harness this power before the Conclave arrives." "Time is something we don't have," came the response. Wright's voice was grim. "The fleet is almost within firing range. We're preparing to launch a final defensive operation. Your plan better work, Ray, or this will be the last fight Earth ever faces." Alex's mind raced as he turned back to the artifact, the glowing symbols now pulsing in rhythm with his heartbeat. He had no idea how to wield this newfound power, no manual, no instruction. But he understood one thing. The artifact was part of Earth's long-hidden history, and it held the key to turning the tide in humanity's favor. The Conclave had spent centuries keeping this secret, believing it would never be discovered, but they had underestimated humanity's curiosity and resilience. "Kel," Alex muttered, activating the encrypted communication channel. "What do we do now?" The alien diplomat's voice was steady, but there was a trace of urgency behind it. "You must go to the primary site, the place where the power was first harnessed. It is deep beneath Earth's surface, hidden for thousands of years. That is where you will find the technology you need to defend your world." The transmission cut out, and Alex's heart raced. Beneath the surface, there was no time to waste. He had to act. He pulled up the coordinates Cal had sent him. and his eyes widened as he realized where they led, the heart of the Pacific Ocean, a massive underwater structure that had once been believed to be a natural formation. But Alex knew better now. It was not a formation at all. It was a hidden base, a vault of immense power, lying dormant for millennia. He wasted no time. Calling in the military's resources, Alex managed to secure a transport ship, fast enough to make the journey, but not without risk. The alien fleet was drawing closer, and every second mattered. As he boarded the vessel, he couldn't help but feel a strange calm wash over him. He didn't know what awaited him beneath the ocean, but one thing was certain. Humanity's future was no longer in the hands of the Conclave. It was in his hands, and the hands of every human who had ever fought to survive. The ship rocketed through the atmosphere and out into the vast expanse of space, heading toward the hidden base. Alex's mind replayed everything Cal had said. The Conclave's centuries-old fears, the ancient race that had seeded Earth with humanity's power, the true nature of the artifact. It was all coming together, and as they neared the Pacific, the feeling that humanity was on the verge of something monumental grew stronger. The Conclave had come to suppress Earth, but they hadn't counted on humanity's ability to adapt, to rise above the impossible. Alex Ray was about to show them just how wrong they had been. The transport ship cut through the night sky, its engines roaring as it descended toward the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean. Alex sat in the cockpit, hands gripped firmly on the controls, his mind racing with what he had learned. Below him, deep beneath the ocean's surface, lay the vault of humanity's future, a power that could either save or doom the planet. The Conclave's fleet was closing in, but they had no idea what was waiting for them. They would soon learn that humanity wasn't as fragile as they had believed. The ship's AI system buzzed with incoming data, and Alex's heart raced as the coordinates led them closer to the location Cal had given him. He could feel the pulse of the artifact inside him, a strange hum that resonated with the ship's engines. The closer they got, the stronger it became, as though the artifact was calling out to something far older than him, something that had been lying dormant for eons. "I hope you know what you're doing," came a voice over the comlink, General Wright's voice crackling through. "The fleet is preparing to fire. If that place doesn't hold what you say it does, Earth is done for." "I know," Alex replied, his voice steady despite the pounding in his chest. "But I can't explain it right now. There's something deep beneath the ocean, something the Conclave doesn't want us to find. And I'm going to make sure they don't get to it first." The transport ship broke through the atmosphere, descending rapidly toward the coordinates. The ocean below stretched out like a vast, dark mirror, and as they neared the location, the water began to shimmer in unnatural patterns. Alex's breath caught in his throat. He had read the coordinates, but nothing could have prepared him for the sight before him. There, emerging from the depths, was a massive ancient structure, an underwater base, colossal in scale, covered in symbols that matched those on the artifact. "This is it," Alex whispered, his voice filled with awe. The ship descended toward a massive opening in the structure, where hidden mechanisms silently unlocked to allow entry. As they touched down on a platform within the base, Alex felt the energy in the air shift. It was as if the very walls of the base were alive, reacting to the presence of the artifact, to the force that Alex now carried within him. He stepped off the transport ship, his footsteps echoing through the massive chamber. The base was eerily silent, but it pulsed with an ancient power, like the beating heart of the planet itself. The deeper they ventured into the structure, the more Alex felt connected to it, as if the place was attuned to him, recognizing the artifact's power within him. And as they reached the central chamber, the true nature of the base became clear. It wasn't just a storage facility, it was a generator, an ancient forgotten mechanism designed to harness the power of the Earth itself. The artifact was more than just a key, it was the control device, the trigger that could unleash the dormant force within the planet. A power so vast, so incomprehensible, that it could reshape the galaxy. "This is it," Alex breathed. "This is what the Conclave was afraid of. And now, it's ours." Just then, a transmission crackled over the comm system, pulling him back to reality. The voice was urgent, panicked. "Dr. Ray, we've lost contact with the military defense forces," General Wright's voice said. "The Conclave fleet is closing in fast. They've activated their weapons. We have less than 10 minutes before they launch an all-out assault. What's your status?" Alex's mind was racing. The energy in the chamber was building, the artifact's power humming louder with each passing second. He was standing on the brink of something enormous. Humanity's true potential was within reach, but he had to act fast. "I'm inside the control chamber," Alex said, determination hardening in his voice. "I'm activating the power now. But I need the full force of Earth's defenses. Prepare the fleet. We're not just defending Earth. We're going to send a message to the Conclave that humanity will never be suppressed again." The air crackled with static, and Alex felt a surge of energy course through his body as he activated the base's systems. The control chamber hummed with life, and the walls around him lit up with the symbols of an ancient civilization. Now they were more than just markings. They were part of an energy network that spanned the globe, waiting for someone to tap into it. Above them, the Conclave fleet was moments away from launching an attack that would destroy Earth. But Alex, with the power of the artifact at his fingertips, was about to send a signal far beyond the stars. The galaxy was about to witness something humanity had never revealed, the power of a species on the edge of its awakening. And the Conclave would learn, too late, that Earth was no longer off limits. The control chamber beneath the ocean hummed with a steady, increasing energy as Alex connected the artifact to the ancient network. The room around him pulsed with light, and the walls seemed to breathe as though alive. He could feel the power building, the deep resonance of a force so old, so profound, it threatened to shake the very foundation of reality itself. It was Earth's forgotten heartbeat, now being awakened by humanity's touch. Above, the Conclave fleet loomed, their weapons charging. On the surface, Earth's last line of defense was scrambling, preparing to launch every weapon at their disposal. But it was already clear that their chances of survival were slim against the alien armada. The only thing standing between humanity and annihilation now was the unknown power Alex had unlocked in the depths. "General Wright," Alex said, his voice calm but filled with determination. "You have 5 minutes. You need to prepare the fleet to launch a full counterstrike, but it won't be enough unless you back me up." "What do you mean, back you up?" Wright's voice crackled over the comm. "The Conclave's ships have shields that deflect anything we throw at them. I don't care what you're unlocking down there. We're outgunned, and we're running out of time. You don't have to fight them," Alex replied, focusing on the artifact now embedded in the chamber's core. The symbols on its surface were glowing brighter with each passing second. "I'm about to give you the weapon you need to win this war." Suddenly, the chamber rumbled beneath Alex's feet, as if the Earth itself was waking up, reacting to the activation of the artifact. The energy in the room spiked, and a pulse of light shot up from the chamber, breaking through the ocean's surface, spreading out into space. Alex gasped as the force of it resonated within him, a shockwave of pure, raw energy that was now surging through the planet. Above Earth, the alien fleet stopped in their tracks. Their ships paused, their advanced systems suddenly unable to process the overwhelming power that was flooding the atmosphere. A deep, low-frequency pulse rippled through their sensors, overwhelming their technology, scrambling their communications. The Conclave had never encountered anything like this before. This was beyond any weapon they had ever known. The alien vessels, which had once been poised to annihilate Earth, began to falter. Some of them attempted to retreat, their systems misfiring as the energy pulse interfered with their shields. Others stalled in midair, floating helplessly as their engines failed to respond. Alex couldn't help but smile. It wasn't just a weapon. It was the manifestation of humanity's untapped potential, now released into the universe. The power of Earth was no longer just a secret buried in the deep. Humanity had become its living conduit. "Right," Alex said, his voice filled with awe. "It's working. The Conclave is scrambling. They can't maintain their systems. It's only a matter of time before their fleet collapses." On the comm line, Wright's voice sounded strained, but he was speaking with a newfound confidence. "What the hell did you do down there, Ray?" "Our systems are up. Every weapon in the fleet is at full power. We're getting an opening. I unlocked the energy of Earth's core," Alex explained quickly. "We're connected to it now. That power is our weapon, but we have to finish this. You need to strike now, before they regroup." As if on cue, Earth's fleet launched its counterattack. Missiles and energy blasts surged into space, targeting the Conclave ships with precision they had never managed before. The alien fleet, already weakened and confused, tried to retaliate, but their weapons malfunctioned under the pressure of the overwhelming energy that now filled the atmosphere. The battle that followed was swift. The Conclave's fleet, disoriented and crippled, was no match for Earth's renewed strength. One by one, their ships were taken out by the sheer force of the planet's power, until only a handful of vessels remained. The alien forces, now retreating into the vast reaches of space, were left with no choice but to flee. As the last of the Conclave ships vanished from Earth's orbit, a deep silence fell over the planet. The air buzzed with the lingering hum of the energy pulse, the artifact's glow slowly fading as the power it had unleashed began to subside. Alex stood in the control chamber, breathing heavily, his body vibrating with the residual energy that still coursed through him. "Dr. Ray," General Wright's voice came over the comm. "We did it. We held them off." Alex let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. "We didn't just hold them off. We've changed everything. Earth's not off limits anymore. The Conclave knows that now. And so does the galaxy." As he stared at the glowing artifact, Alex knew that this was only the beginning. Humanity had just unlocked a power that would change the course of the galaxy forever. The Conclave had thought Earth was a secret to be kept hidden, but humanity had shown them that secrets, once uncovered, could never be contained again. The galaxy would remember Earth, and so would the stars.